It's not where have we been. It's where everyone else has been.
Why?
Where has everybody else been?
I don't know. Because we've been living under a rock.
Yeah.
Again, kind of. Still.
Well, we're making the best of it. All right. So I guess we can consider this season 2
Yeah, we'll go with that.
of an intro for while she's napping, even though we now have 2 children.
Right.
So for those that have stuck with us, we thank you for that. I don't even know how to begin this. I don't even know how to get into the explanation as to what went down. I guess what we should do is next time we go on a hiatus, we should probably tell someone, you know.
Yeah.
Because the last episode we did was in July.
Well, we had plans to come back with the babes.
Well, okay, so let's blame them.
No. It wasn't their fault. I'm saying
fucking Chris and Sarah.
We had
Why'd
intended...
you have to have a child?
No. We had intended...
They didn't have a child.
No. I'm saying we had plans. I think we said it on our last episode that we were, still looking forward to recording an episode with them before we took a break. And
right.
We totally dropped the ball on that.
No, I mean, we had
a lot going on. Yeah.
So the last episode we did was friendships after having children. We should just call it podcasts after having children.
Yeah. Seems like we handled the podcast the same way a lot of friendships end up, going after you have kids.
See you the fuck later. Maybe.
In like 6 months.
Has it been 6 months? It's
not
been,
quite.
Well,
almost.
It's January.
Yeah.
So July to January, just about.
Yep.
All right. This is not going to be a full-length episode. I'm just looking through our dashboard on the Podbean. We should note that even though now we have 2 children, we can't change the name of the show.
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, they're both girls.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them's napping.
But we're not doing it when they're napping anymore because napping's not a thing for our older daughter. So
that wasn't prudent of me.
We just have to record after they're both in bed, which is sometimes late.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Once they're down.
I don't know. That sounds weird.
It sounds like we old yellered our children.
Oh my God.
Gotta put them down.
Jesus.
Anyways. So I am still Adam.
And I'm still Cindy.
Yeah. And we had a lot going on. The birth of our second daughter for her was successful.
Right, for the baby. Yes.
The baby is great. The baby is happy as can be, healthy, no issues.
And she's an amazing baby.
So easy when it comes to this baby. And I don't want to talk shit about our firstborn. Because our firstborn might dig in through the archives when she's older. But this baby is just so much easier than our first. Not that our first was challenging. I'm just saying in comparison.
She was. Now that we know.
Well, now we know.
Right, we have something to compare it to.
Right, because when we were waiting or preparing for baby number 2, we're like, all right, we gotta anticipate waking up super frequently in the night.
Mm-hmm.
We have to anticipate
just hours of crying for no apparent reason.
We have to. It's just part of the game. We just thought that was part of.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah, and
we should go back. I don't remember which episode it was, but we did an episode about the newborn days with our first and how challenging it was. And I was one of the only people when we did a poll about what was more difficult, the toddler years or the newborn phase, and I wholeheartedly said the newborn phase because
even I said the toddler age.
I know, but it was just that hard for me with our first, and this time around it's just a completely different experience, completely different baby, which everybody says every child is different. But the delivery, on the other hand, for me,
I mean, we're going back all the way to September. This baby was very comfortable up in there.
Yep.
And
in the wrong
was
direction.
6 days.
5 days after my
And she
due
was
date.
not in the wrong direction come delivery.
Because they turned her.
Right.
Which was a very painful procedure that I went through after weeks of doing all the other kinds of things, acupuncture, chiropractic,
QAnon
inversions,
stuff.
right? Like all stuff that I'm not normally would, I wouldn't dabble in, and I didn't really buy into it. But I was so desperate to turn her from the breech position. I was willing to try pretty much anything. And that was an exhausting 3 weeks of trying to turn her that way. And then they finally did an external cephalic version. I think I'm saying it right, an ECV, where they manually turned her when I was 36 or 37 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. But it was successful.
Trying not to cough because we are unsure as to whether or not
you got something.
I have the Rona. I can't get tested.
Nope, there's no tests.
And anyways, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, it was cool to see because I saw our child completely horizontal to your body. It was weird. And she was just chilling. That was a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
She did not give a fuck in there. And they were monitoring the heart rate. They're like, the umbilical cord could wrap around her. Nope. She was just...
Well, there was I don't want to scare anyone who's listening to this who may go through this experience of having a breech baby, but it's really unlikely that a complication like that would happen.
I'm not, whatever. I'm just
saying. But it's possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
She just did not care.
Yep.
And
she was comfy.
Yeah. And the reason why the umbilical cord largely, I think, in my unscientific opinion, did not wrap around her is because it was fucking short.
And that's why she wouldn't turn on her own.
It was about, a foot?
It was, yeah. I couldn't even, once I delivered her, I couldn't even, bring her up to my chest.
Yeah. So the delivery was about an hour. I'm not trying to minimize everything. Yeah. The delivery itself was about an hour.
Which part of the delivery?
No. Not labor.
Okay.
Active labor when we got into the ABC room.
You mean pushing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Pushed for an hour.
Oh, whatever. That to me is delivery or labor.
Okay.
Whatever.
Oh
I don't fucking know.
God. Okay. Well, I think we should do we did a whole episode last season, on the birth story of our first daughter. So I think we should do another one.
Sure.
And we can talk in more detail, but yeah.
You're okay now.
I'm okay now.
You're here.
I'm very thankful that I'm here because I wasn't sure I would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was traumatic.
I will say that I was so jubilated. Is that the word?
I don't know if that's a word.
Jubilation? Yeah. Jubilated?
I think so.
Take a quick Google search. Jubilated.
We're a little rusty. Our vocabulary is failing.
Jubilated is a word.
There you go.
Show great happiness and rejoice. That's what I'm.
That's exactly what you were going for.
All right, so I was so jubilated with the birth of our child that's the week that Christian McCaffrey went down, and I have him on my team, or I had him on my team.
I remember you telling me that when I was in hospital,
and I was like, I don't give a fuck.
I was like, well, just one more thing. I mean,
I don't care.
Can shit get much worse right now?
Listen, I'm still in the championship as of today.
Yeah, and I'm in the consolation championship.
By the time this is published, I'll know.
I know.
And it doesn't look good right now.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. So yeah, Christmas went swimmingly so far. It was quite the paradigm shift from last year.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had people in the house.
Yes.
And required.
All vaccinated and rapid tested.
Not all.
All eligible.
Yes.
Yes. Not the kids, obviously, because they can't be.
And the QAnons. No. We required everyone to take a negative test, and I think that worked out well. Apparently, how I'm feeling, it might not have.
But we know that there have been other colds going around that other people in our family have had and have all tested negative. So it's still cold and flu season in New England. There's other things happening too. Not to downplay it. If you think you have symptoms, you should get tested if you can.
I have 7.5 G in me. Just Give me the Rona at this point. Give me that. They're calling it super immunity.
Yeah. But then you'd probably,
that's your final form.
But then you would, if you got it, you'd probably give it to me and the kids.
Like, I wish there was a vaccine that you could take that if you got the Rona, you start glowing.
Wow.
So you know.
So you know.
And you're just chilling in your basement until you stop glowing. And then I don't give a fuck at that point. I will walk around naked everywhere. Like, no mask, no clothes.
Okay.
Sir, this is a public... no, I have super immunity, sir. To everything. To anything, sir.
What a visual.
Okay? But, sir, there's frostbite. No, super immunity. To all variants of anything. I don't really want to focus on COVID, but...
Yeah.
The Christmas was good, and just...
Having a 3.5-year-old was really fun.
Oh, it was perfect.
It's such a fun age now.
Yeah, this is the year. I was telling my friend this on the fantasy football podcast we do. It is the first time, because newborn. All right, so our first child was born in June. So when she's 6 months old, does not know anything what's going on for Christmas.
Right.
And we're showering the house with gifts and stuff, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So newborn Christmas is more for the parents. Don't waste your money. In fact, we did that on our newborn now. We didn't get her, like, we got her one thing.
No, we got her, well, our older daughter got her something.
The stuff that she already had.
But that was a cute gesture, I
get
think,
it.
like to teach her how to share with her sister and whatever. So she packed up a little shoebox of old toys and helped me wrap it. And then she got one thing from Santa, because I didn't want our older daughter to be like, what the hell? Why didn't Santa get anything for my sister? Was she not good this year?
But we didn't get her anything.
And then we got her one thing.
Okay, good.
From us, one thing from Santa, and then the shoebox of old toys from her sister.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
And plus, she already, being the second daughter in the family, she has literally everything.
She doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, who cares at that point? Don't waste your money on the newborn, right? So, I digress. A year and a half, or one, or whatever, the child still doesn't know what's going on.
We can get her a few cute things. Like, I think...
No, I'm reflecting back on our firstborn.
Yeah. So her second Christmas, a year and a half. Yeah.
Didn't really know what was going on. 2, she started to, because that's when Elf on a Shelf came in to play. That's when...
So that was her third Christmas.
That was her third Christmas.
Which
last
was 2020.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah. Which we also were making an
effort
to...
We had the time.
Yes, and we were making an effort to make up for how shitty the rest of the year had been, and the fact she wasn't seeing her family or cousins or whatever, and yeah.
So that's when it started. It didn't click until
this year. It was really
age 3 is when it started. So my original point to this is what I told my friend is this is the first year that I'm like, okay, Christmas is no longer at all, like even a percentage about you or I.
You say that every year, and then you still go all out buying stuff for me.
Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to buy you gifts. I'm just saying the feeling of I was way more... Like, your gifts were a fucking afterthought compared to being excited to her opening hers.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the primary focus...
Well, you really nailed it for being an afterthought.
The primary focus was the child.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even say the children because the 3-month-old is just... Yeah.
Well, even next year, she's going to have just turned 1.
She's not going to know.
She's still going to be. But I think next year is going to be so fun watching the two of them. Like, I'm sure our older daughter's going to go
monkey
get her.
see, monkey do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the excitement will be contagious, I think, and she'll really still have fun.
And New Year's Eve, again, we were supposed to chill with the babes. I was not having it. Again, maybe I have Diet Rona. But classic parents.
It didn't even feel like New Year's Eve. So
we had an active shooter in our neighborhood. That's all.
I know.
That's all.
Pretty much spent the night like
we thought they were fireworks. No, they were gunshots.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's New Year's Eve, fireworks, duh. Like, yeah. Come to find out, there was like a domestic situation with SWAT team.
Yeah.
With a guy barricaded inside his house with an AR-15. So that was fun.
Coventry. Welcome to Coventry.
It all turned out okay. Nobody got hurt.
You sure you want to come here, babes?
So that's good.
Coventry.
No, they're going to stay in like Newport.
Don't stay in Newport.
I think that's what they're headed for.
Oof. That's depends on the area.
Well,
I don't want to reveal their travel plans, but Newport, depending on where you're staying, could be really shitty.
Or really, really nice.
Yes, depending on where you stay.
I guess. Well, that's anywhere in the state.
Don't stay in Middletown.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Anyways, I don't know what else we need to say to get everyone up to speed other than we're going to do our damnedest to do this on a weekly basis. No promises.
Yeah, I think one thing that might change this season is we may not be as consistent with when the episode drops. We're going to try really hard.
I'd like to still release them on a Monday.
Okay.
We don't have to record them during the weekend or whatever like we traditionally did.
True, but if we don't get around to recording it in time, it could drop. Like if we don't record before Monday, we can't drop it on Monday.
Yeah, I get it.
So we're going to do the best we can. But if
people
it
are still listening.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad people stuck with us.
Last week, we had 47 downloads.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Well, I'd be curious to go back and see what episodes are still being listened to because one idea we had for this season would be to revisit some of the topics we talked about in season 1 and, whether they're the ones that are most listened to or people are still listening to now or things that have had significant updates like, we did, for example, the pro-life, pro-choice episode. Since then, a lot of shit has happened.
I'll give you
that topic.
a guess as to what the number one downloaded episode from November 30th to December 30th was.
I have no idea.
Just take a guess.
The 90s.
Nope.
Rhode Island.
Nope.
Okay.
Anti-vax.
Well, duh. Yeah. I forgot that we did that.
Yeah.
We did that super early on in the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. Christmas got in there, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, anti-vax is...
That makes sense because that's the buzz right now.
I guess people...
Well, I guess we could revisit that, but I feel like a broken record.
There's nothing else to say about
Exactly. Yeah.
But we'll do our best to release content, and that's where you guys come in. I said on previous episodes that I had a list. I'm telling you, top cereals is still on the list.
Well, we know what your top cereal is.
Well, I don't want to ruin anything because when we inevitably do that episode, it's going to be... I'm telling you, that's going to be a fiery episode. People are passionate about their cereals.
People like you.
It's basically Fruit Loops, but whatever.
All right, we can sprinkle that in somewhere in between some of the heavier topics that I'm sure we're going to dive into.
If people want to give their input as to what they would like to hear, as always, this isn't something that's new. We would like to hear what you want to hear. I don't know of anything that we previewed specifically before. Do you anything come off the top of the dome?
No, I think I'd have to go back and listen to whatever our last episode was, and what
Mac versus PC.
What were we gonna talk about with the babes? The episode that never happened.
Amazon versus small biz. Bills versus Patriots. What are we doing here?
Jesus.
What are we all about? Because we already won East Coast versus West Coast. We already won that episode.
Clearly, that was obviously
conquered that.
Yeah. So we can revisit some of our favorite episodes or episodes that have had topics that have had a lot of development since we last talked about it. We can definitely do an episode on our birth story of our second child. And then we can do some polls on social media to find out what other people, what other topics people want to hear.
Yeah, you know what we should also talk about? This was a topic. And, I know a lot of people are taking this path. The decision to delete Facebook. And I know on Facebook, that's sort of like an episode. But if you really think about it, the decision to delete one's Facebook and really just put it behind you, which is something that I'm always struggling to do, and I always seem to find excuses to keep it, is sadly monumental.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that would be a really interesting thing to talk about, especially in the context of everything that's been going on with the lawsuits and the, kind of uproar against all the social media platforms for how they, it's created to keep you there on purpose, like the algorithms and the way that they promote really salacious, like.
Well, it's not just social media, right? It's like
specifically
YouTube,
Facebook, but
unless you consider YouTube social media. I don't necessarily do.
I know what you mean, but it has the same kind of, it's algorithm driven,
Yes.
so that and things that are, misinformation and conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff it's designed to keep you there, and they're doing it on purpose, kind of.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be really interesting to talk about that and some of the things that have come out, in the last, 6 months or so, and connect it to what you were just saying.
Yeah. So I'm about doing something like that. Maybe we can bring on people that have made the decision to, or hear from people rather, that have made the decision to do it versus those that are struggling versus those that won't.
Yeah. And then I think there are probably people in between who, maybe delete the app off their phone but only log in on their desktop. Yeah, I know you've done that before. Or people who just take a break from social media in general, or,
Well, the reason why I still have it is because I thought I couldn't participate in Messenger without it. Now I realize you can.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
all you need is your phone number. So my excuse now is, well, what if we are bringing this back?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's good for...
I could say, well, you'll just take care of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not very good at it, and we've tried to switch more over to Instagram,
which is Facebook.
It is, but it's a different platform in the way that it's it's all visual and it's all stories,
I guess.
Versus like having a post that's like heavy on text and things like that.
Yeah.
And I did hear that Instagram is considering bringing back the chronological news feed and getting rid of their algorithms. I hope so too.
I don't think they. No, I don't trust that. I don't trust.
Well, we'll see what happens. I it's been a while since I've heard if there's been any movement there, but.
All right, to close this out, we're about like 22 minutes in. We just, as we've talked about and covered, we have 2 children now. What is the biggest difference to you about having 2 kids in this 3 months of having 2 kids?
Biggest difference in what? Like
just that comes to
life?
Yeah, whatever.
I guess it's just, well, it's hard for me to separate the delivery and what happened. And, I'm way more conscious of my own health and self-care this time around. But aside from that, it's like splitting my attention between two little humans who both need it. Mm-hmm. We just had a bedtime where our oldest just screamed mommy for me for like 10 minutes, and you finally had to step in and put her to bed. So I think it's oh, P.S.
she wants me to dye my beard white.
Oh, okay. So that's how you got her to go to bed. You got her to just like talk about goofy things.
I guess so.
Yeah.
She wants my beard white.
Like Wizard Whitebeard?
I guess so. Or
From
Santa.
Waldo. Or
Why
Santa.
do you go straight to Wizard Whitebeard before Santa?
Because we talk about Waldo and Wizard Whitebeard all
the time.
No
one knows what we're talking about.
But okay. Well, other parents might who watch Where's Waldo.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, it's just been relearning the balancing act.
Okay. Distribution of love.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Is my well, not you're saying more of attention. Mine's more internal. Because I'm trying to balance out. It's really difficult, and maybe this is gonna make me sound like a shitty dad, but it's really difficult for me to be. I mean, I love both kids, obviously, but the baby, it's just like in the back of my mind, like I don't even fucking know you yet, because I know what the process is like now.
Right, and you know what she's going to become. And
I don't. I don't know what she's going to become. You know
what I mean. But obviously she's going to be her own individual person.
Yes.
But like, you know what's to come in terms of experiences and memories and like the type of things that we're going to do with her. But I don't know what
the type of toddler she's going to be.
No.
You know,
but that's exciting to me.
Yes. And
to know that we get to do it all over again, but with a different person.
It's weird to know our oldest and say, like, I know the type of person you are right now. Obviously, that's going to change, but I know the type of person you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love you no matter what. And I love discovering these things about you, and I feel that I have a pretty good grasp on your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with the baby, it's just like, you're just a fucking baby.
Well, yeah,
I love you, baby. Don't get me wrong.
But you know,
I just don't know you yet.
Right. And I think you described this on, maybe it was the birth story episode, I can't remember, but how, you know, you didn't feel as bonded to our first daughter as I did when she was first born either. And I think that's really normal.
I feel more bonded to our second born.
Yeah.
Only because people say she looks like me.
Yeah.
Like she's, you know, not to give away names here, but she sort of has my namesake.
Yeah.
Like I was primarily the namer of this child.
Well, and you really had to step in big time when I was readmitted to the hospital after she was born.
Yeah.
And you spent arguably more time with her than I did in her first week or two of life.
And, you know, she laughs at me.
Oh, yeah, you got the big laughs. I know. I don't really get laughs.
I don't know. So, like, I feel like the connection is there, and which is dope, but it's more that it's that unknown. Like, right. I love her simply because she's my child. And now having an older child, I'm like, there's a deeper connection. Of
course.
There's a deeper. So that's the difference. That's what I've discovered as the difference. It's weird having that happen at once.
Yeah.
You know, because with our firstborn, it was a gradual process and it was more reflective.
Right.
You look back and say, oh, I didn't know you then. And of course, I still loved you, but now I love you more because I'm knowing you more.
Well, I don't know if it's I love you more. It's just you have a different, deeper connection.
Sure. Okay, fine. Fair enough.
I think it's funny that you bring this up. I literally just had this conversation with my therapist last week about how I feel a different sense of bonding with my second than I did with my first. And she helped me frame it because I felt the same way. I'm like, I sound like a shitty parent to say that I don't feel as bonded necessarily. Maybe bond is not the right word. Anyway, she ended up putting it in exactly what I meant. I was very anxious with our first. Like, I really
even
had
after she was born.
That's what I mean. With our first, during the newborn phase, part of the reason why it was so hellish for me was because I think I really did have postpartum anxiety, but it was never diagnosed.
Is she dying?
Yes,
hiccup?
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't sleep when she slept because
now it's like, what the? I don't know. She's just
fine.
in the other room.
Yeah,
she's
like
fine.
I couldn't leave the room without my first. Like I couldn't even have her in the other room.
I know.
Even if I knew she was safe in her bassinet, in her crib, whatever. I know.
Where's our baby? I don't know.
And I said, this is what I said to my therapist. There are times when I leave the room, like I'll leave the baby in her crib or in her bouncer or whatever. I know in a place where she's safe and she's sleeping and she's fine and all of her needs are met. And I'm off in the other room cleaning or playing with our other daughter. And I almost forget about her.
Never would happen.
Almost forget about her. And then I walk back in the room.
Forget.
I mean, I don't forget. You know what I mean? I just mean like she's kind of out of sight, out of mind because she's asleep and she's safe. And I said to my therapist, I was like, is that the way it's supposed to be? Like, was I just doing it all wrong the first time? Like, right. And she said, well, it's not really how it's supposed to be. It's just this is how it can be. You don't have to be a ball of anxiety all the time. Like, you can leave your baby alone in a room as long as they're safe and all their needs are met. Like, yes, it can be that way. And you can get sleep and you can feel rested and you can take care of yourself and your other children and, you know, have time with your husband. Like, you can do all those things with a baby.
Yeah.
And the first time around totally did not do that at all. And so she described it as, you know, do you not feel as attached to this baby or do you not feel an anxious attachment to this baby like you did with the first? And I was like, ding, ding, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we can also talk about that, therapy and stuff, but
yeah, it's been fun. I'm really glad that I got a new therapist like a year ago about, in January.
Yeah, we can talk about that. But all right, we're about a half hour and we can wrap it up here. We just want to let everyone know that season 2 is here. We'd like to make 2022 the year of season 2.
Yep.
And I don't know how many episodes we're gonna release. We'll try our best, but this is something that personally I have missed. Same thing with the other podcasts I used to do. Absence makes the heart grow hornier.
Wow.
For sure. And isn't that the same?
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
I don't want to run through where people can find us because we've had 60 episodes of where people can find us. So we're on Instagram. We're currently on Facebook. That might change depending on the Facebook episode. Maybe that's a good place to start. Reaching out to people and, deleting their Facebooks.
But I would say the primary social media that we've been using is Instagram at While She's Napping.
Sure.
And that's where we'll post some polls and other things to get your ideas on topics for what you want to hear.
All right. So thank you for sticking with us if you're still subscribed. Hopefully this was a nice little New Year's surprise. Pull for me in the Fantasy Championship. This will be out Monday morning, and by then everyone, myself included, will know, and you can rag on me or you can congratulate me.
And I'll be back to work.
Yeah, we'll all be back to work.
Well, yeah, but me for the first time in almost 4 months.
That week between Christmas and New Year's should just be off for everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Just be a couch.
But it was even weirder when it was my last week of maternity leave.
And when I'm sick. So,
yep.
There's that. All right, take care. Thanks for listening. Peace.